We are building a game to learn about Flet and Python. We have a futuristic game in a part of Tokyo called Kabukicho, and I'm using these type of background images. We have two different characters. One is a female called Aki, and one's Hiroshi. And they're kind of going through a tough time in the future. She's actually the hero trying to save the world. So if you want to use the same graphics that I'm using, you're welcome to use it. It might be more fun if you pick your own graphics. And I also changed the style of Hiroshi from, in the previous video, he was a more kind of clean cut look to it. But I think I'm going to go for the more rundown look here. And the plot that I'm thinking of, he starts off kind of at a low point because he's depressed. But then he meets the woman and she's working on a project which gives him hope. So maybe we'll start off that he's, it's dark, that he's drinking. So I've dropped in this Hiroshi whiskey and I can just change it right here. When I try to drop him down, I'm going to try the alignment value. The bottom left. The actual graphic does have a little space at the bottom. So the bottom of this image is actually aligned with the bottom of the game. So I'm going to keep it like this. In the root of the project, I'm going to create a folder called view. And in the folder called view, I'm going to create a subfolder called components. And in the components folder, I'm going to create a file called character component .py. We'll import Flet. And we're going to grab the character component here. We'll set it up as a ft.component. Component. We'll make a function. So I'll put an ft control. We'll have it return this container. So back in main.py, we'll import it. Okay, so from model dot from view dot components import. I'm going to set up the net.py file in view. So under the view folder, we'll go a new file underscore underscore init underscore underscore .py from components dot character component import character component. Okay. Then if it's all it will import the character component. Okay. Now we should be able to add the character component here. In the character component, oh yeah, there's an extra parentheses here. It was automatically adding in the extra parentheses because I had a comma at the end here. Let's try it again. I'm going to create another folder in the root of the project called model. And in the model folder, I'll create another file called character model.py. We're going to use the Python package Enum. And we'll create a class for the character. We'll extend Enum. And this guy's name is Hiroshi. And he'll be drinking whiskey because he's beaten down. He's going to get better. We just put the name of the file here. Then the subfolder is actors within assets, but assets is automatically set by Flet. Right inside of model, I'll also create a folder called dialog, or a file called dialog entry.py. We're going to use data classes. And I'm going to use Python optional type hints, and one of them is actually optional. No. And we will import character for now. We get the image file. Called dialog entry with the data class, text, string, and we'll set up a character 1, the optional character, and we'll have it be none. Right, let's create our data file. Dialog data.py. We'll import the character from the character model, which we can extend in the future. We'll set up a constant all in caps style, which will be of type tuple, and it's going to be a tuple of dialog entry of indeterminate length, and we'll set it up with these round parentheses, which is the tuple, and we'll create a dialog entry. So there's some text. The year 2044, and Shinjuku reeks. Oh, okay. So Shinjuku is a area of Tokyo, and within Shinjuku, there's a right now, which is a pretty red light area called Kabukicho. But by U.S. standards, it's actually pretty tame. But we'll set our character 1 to be character.hiroshi whiskey from there. So I'm back in the character component. So from model.character model, we'll import character which we just created. So the character component will, you're going to have to pass the character over. And so the image will be the, instead of the actual file name, character.value. So this is an enum. And I'll put a fit in here. ft.box fit scale down. We need the dialog. Current dialog will be equal to, right now there's only one dialog 0. Current dialog dot character 1. To be clear, we can go character equals current to be tuple. Our thing should be a tuple. Here's a typo. Okay, character is currently appearing. I'm going to try to get the text on here. All right, congratulations. You're on our way to make this beautiful visual novel with Flet. Hopefully you generated your own characters and your own backgrounds. We've used the Flet component architecture with ft.component. We're going to use this to move the components into other directories in the future, and then we'll use ft.useState to control which character shows up on the screen, as well as the background too. We're controlling the placement with row, container, column. Oftentimes we have to use expand equals true. This is something that's specific to Flet. If you forget to do this, your character might be floating in the middle of the screen. Also, to get the character all the way at the bottom, we are using the alignment equals ft.alignment.bottom_left. We've started to implement a basic model view controller architecture. So these are just the names of the folders that you put your different files in it that makes up your program. We're using a Python Enum data structure, which is built into Python. And we're using this to map the character poses to the image file names. Enums in general reduce programmer error, and it makes the poses easier to change. So if we just change the file name, and then we map that to a specific pose, like Hiroshi standing, we could experiment with different files or different images of him and then decide on the one that we want. We're using the Python built-in data class to set the format of the dialog entry so that each entry has a consistent format. So there's a model for the dialog entry. We're also using the Python built-in data type called a tuple, which is immutable, meaning that you can't change it after it's in the tuple. And we're holding the dialog in an iterable. We'll use this iterable in the future to move through the different scenes. The iterable has an index like 0, 1, 2. It's the same as a list. We'll see you in the next video when we'll be making the text, which will go onto the screen, and we'll use the same architecture, maybe even build it out a little bit more to make the story more scalable and easier to manage. Great day.